Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the best almond milk I have made thus far, and I am going to share the recipe with you. But before we get started, these are some things that you will need: almonds, water, dates, preferably the ones that are already pitted, vanilla, Himalayan salt. You need those items to make this delicious almond milk. Now I'm gonna have you watch me make it. Now you will also need an almond milk maker or a milk maker, and it makes different types of nuts that you can use, but I'm calling it almond milk or almond milk maker right now, just for the purpose, because that is what I am making. And I got this one that you see here. I got it from Amazon, and it was only like $29.99, but you can get whatever one you want. It's just that this is the one that I chose because of the price mostly, and because it's something that I'm just now making. And then you will also need that cheesecloth like this, and this is a pitcher that I also use. I think it's either 1 or 2 liters, something like that, but the bag fits right over it so that when I pour the almond milk out, once it's done in there, it drains it really good. And I have to squeeze out, now depending on how much stuff you put in there, and this was a complete trial by error. I messed up so many of it until I got the perfect recipe. And so I use a dash of the Himalayan salt. You don't put a lot in there, just like 2 shakes or 1 shake, something like that, just a dash of it. And I found that using about 7 almonds is good if you like your milk sweet. If you don't like it as sweet, you might want to drop down to the 4 or 6. But I kind of like it sweet for what I do with my milk. I like it a little bit sweet. 8 is like really sweet. It's almost like you're gonna make the coffee creamer that you would like to have in your coffee. And now I put it on number 2 on this particular device that I use, the almond milk or milk maker that I use, the second level. And you see in the green there, you can see it on there. I just put it on that. And what I have found, this is a trick now, what I found, I let it go like through the first cycle, then I cycle it again, and I cycle it like 3 times, and that's just so that it can be very fine. And another thing that I have done is to fortify it with a vitamin. Like I put vitamin D as well as calcium pill in mine, so that my almond milk can be fortified. And so you're gonna pour the water in there, and you pour the water up to the line. You got 2 lines that you can pour. Now the best thing to do is to have it as fresh as possible, because I don't know whether I had done it and then left it out sitting out too long or not, but it doesn't stay for a very long time, probably 2.5 days max. So just make enough for you to consume within that time frame so that you can be drinking fresh milk. Now it seems tedious because what I did the first time I made it, I made enough, like 2 jars, and then it spoiled. I was like, oh, this tastes rancid. So it spoiled really, really quick. It wasn't enough for me to drink it in that amount of time. So now just make enough. And then I said, wow, if this is spoiling within 3 days, what happens with the preservative that is in the stuff that I would buy from the store? So I kind of got a little bit, I won't say super paranoid, but it kind of made me think like, I have to make my almond milk fresh now. And another thing, I put ice in it so it can be cold if you want to drink it like right away after you make it. I put ice in it as well. And then you make sure that you strain it with the cheesecloth. So those are the things that you would need: the water, the dates, the vanilla, the almonds, the cheesecloth, because you definitely have to strain it. If not, you're gonna have all that gritty stuff with the date skin and things in there. Make sure you get the dates that are already with the pits out of them, because you don't want to make a mistake and be throwing dates in there with pits in them. And so I just put it on, like I said, I run it a few times, and then after the third time, that is when I go ahead and drain it into the cheesecloth. Now I must say the one that you're watching now is where I use extra almonds and probably about 8 dates. And this is what happens if you don't strain it enough, or if you put too much things in it. It's just gonna be a lot of stuff you have to squeeze out through the cheesecloth. So that's why I discovered that if you run it a few times, it will make the product or the almonds more thinner or more fine, so that the draining process, I noticed that the draining process was much easier and less that I had to use the cheesecloth and squeeze on it the way you are viewing it right now. But the milk that resulted in what I have been doing is fantastic. Like I said, I'm making the errors now, so you do not have to. So the things that you will need again is you're gonna need a cheesecloth, of course, and then you're gonna need the almonds, of course, water. I use Himalayan salt, the pink Himalayan salt, and just 1 teaspoonful of vanilla. And then about, depends on your sweetness that you like, 6 to 8 dates or 4 dates. And then the water level is going to be dependent on the device that you have. And then of course, you want to make the milk according to your family size. With me, I'm the only one that's drinking this, so I only make enough to last me like maybe 2 days. And I will make my shake. I'll show you that shake that I make. So I will use this, and I'll give you the recipe for this most delicious shake. It's made with cacao, pine needle powder, moringa, soursop leaves, what's the other? Apricot kernel. And those are the things that I put in that, as well as fenugreek. And I grind the fenugreek up prior to putting it in the mix, because fenugreek is like seeds, and you want to grind that up before you mix that in anything. And then also I will put 2 tablespoons of peanut butter and half of avocado in that, and it is a most delicious, like chocolatey peanut butter shake that you can have, or drink that you can have. And also put ice in it so that it is so delicious. And you can also make something like some chocolate ice cream with this, because the more avocado you have gives it that creamy texture, and just add more ice to it, and you can actually have something like a mousse type of ice cream. So now you are watching me. This looks like milk, right? But like I said, remember to add, what I do with mine is I add 1 of my vitamin D tablets as well as calcium, so that I can fortify mine. And then also, if you want to make a separate batch for your coffee creamer, to make some coffee creamer, you can do that. But this is so delicious, and I just want to share these recipes. And I don't have these fancy jars or anything. Like this jar had some, I think it was a salsa jar or something. You can use what you have. I hope you like the recipe. Remember to subscribe, like, and share this video. And here is that delicious shake that I told you guys about. I'll put the recipe on here as well.